Yehova Eloheinu Zvaot. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me and cover me and stir me and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. 2 Kings chapter 9. Elisha the prophet summoned one of the guild prophets and said to him, "Prepare for traveling. Take this flask of oil in your hand and go to remote Gilead. When you get there, look for Yehua, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi. Enter, have him step away from his companions, and take him to an inside room. Then take the flask of oil, pour it on his head, and say, 'This is what Yehovah says. I have anointed you king over Israel.' After that, open the door and get away from there as fast as you can." So the young prophet left for remote Gilead. When he arrived, he found the senior army officers sitting there. He said, "I have a message for you, Commander." Yehua answered, "For which one of us?" "For you, Commander." He said. Yehua got up and went into the house. Then the prophet poured the oil on his head and said to him, "This is what Yehovah, the God of Israel, says. I have anointed you the king over Israel, the king over the people of Yehovah over Israel. You will attack the house of Achav, your master, so that I can avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets, and all the servants of Yehovah, blood shed by Isabel. The entire house of Achav will perish. I will cut off from Achav every male, whether a slave or free in Israel. I will make the house of Achav like the house of Yorvam, the son of Nevat, and like the house of Baasha, and the son of Achiah. Moreover, the dogs will eat Isabel in the dumping ground of Yisrael, and there will be no one to bury her." Then he opened the door and fled. Yehua returned to the servants of his lord, and one of them said to him, "Is everything all right? Why did this crazy person come to you?" He answered them, "You know the kind and how they babble." They said, "You're being evasive. Come on, tell us the truth." Then he said, "This is exactly what he said to me and how he said it. Here is what Yehovah says. I have anointed you the king over Israel." At this, they hurried each one to take his cloak and put it under Yehua in the top of the stairs. Then they blew the shofar and proclaimed, "Yehua is king." Yehua, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, formed a conspiracy against Joram. At the time, Joram was guarding remote Gilead, he and all Israel, because of Hazael, king of Aram. But Joram himself had returned to Israel to recover from the wounds of Aram had afflicted on him when fighting Hazael, king of Aram. If you agree, and Yehua, then don't allow anyone to leave town or take the news of Israel. So Yehua, riding in a chariot, went to Israel from Joram, was laid up there. Ahaziah, king of Yehuda, had come down to visit Joram. The lookout standing on the watchtower is Yisrael saw Yehu's troops approaching and said, "I see some troops coming." Joram said, "Have a horseman go and meet him and ask, 'Are you coming in peace?'" So a man on horseback went to meet him and said, "The king asked if you're coming in peace." Yehua answered, "Peace. What business is that of yours? Turn around and get behind me." The watchman reported, "The messenger reached them, but he isn't coming back." So he sent out a second man on horseback, who, on coming to him, said, "The king asked if you're coming in peace." Yehua answered, "Peace. What business is that of yours? Turn around and get behind me." The watchman reported, "He reached them, but he isn't coming back. Also, it looks like the driving of Yehu, Nimshi's grandson. He's driving like a maniac. Harness my chariot, ordered Yoram. They got it ready. Then Yoram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Yehuda, each in his chariot, went out to meet Yehu. They met him in the field of Navot the Yisraeli. When Yoram saw Yehu, he said, "Are you coming in peace, Yehu?" He answered, "Peace." With your mother Isabel continuing in her cult prostitution and witchcraft? What a question. Yoram wheeled around and fled, shouting, "Treachery! Ahaziah!" Yehu drew his bow with all his strength and struck Yoram between the shoulder blades. The arrow went through his heart, and he collapsed in his chariot. "Pick him up," said Yehu to Bichar, his servant, "and throw him into the field of Navot the Yisraeli. For remember how, when you and I were riding together after Achav, his father, Yehova pronounced the sentence against him? Yehova says, 'Yesterday I saw the blood of Navat and the blood of his sons.' Yehova also says, 'I will pay you back in this field.' Therefore pick him up and throw him into the field, in keeping with what Yehova said." But when Ahaziah, king of Yehuda, saw this, he fled on the road past Beit Hangad. Yehu pursued him and ordered, "Strike him too in this chariot." So they struck him at the Gur ascent near Yevliam. He fled to Megiddo, but there he died. His servants carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in the tomb with his ancestors in the city of David. It was in the 11th year of Yoram, the son of Achav, that Ahaziah had begun his rule over Yehuda. When Yehu reached Yisrael and Isabel heard of it, she put on eye makeup and fixed her hair and looked out the window. As Yehu came through the city gate, she asked, "Are you here in peace, you Zimri, you murderer of my master?" Looking up at the window, he said, "Who's on my side? Who?" 2 or 3 officers looked out toward him. He said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down. Some of her blood splashed onto the wall and the horses, and she was trampled underfoot. He went in, ate, and drank, and then said, "Deal with this accursed woman, bury her, because she's a king's daughter." They went to bury her and found no more of her than her skull, feet, and hands. So they came back and told him. He said, "This is what Yehova said through his servant Eliyahu from Tishbe. In the field of Yisrael, the dogs will eat the flesh of Isabel. Isabel's corpse in the field of Yisrael will be like dung on the ground, unrecognizable as Isabel." How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this interesting 9th chapter of 2 Kings? We can proclaim what Yehova says. Listen and act on the words of Yehova. Know that Yehova, the Elohim of Israel, will sometimes anoint some for war, so he can avenge his children as well as cut off entire households in a bloody way. Tell the truth. Proclaim boldly the word of Yehova, even if others see you as crazy. Aim for peace everywhere you go. Aim for unity with those around you. Aim to live in obedience to the written words of Yehova, pleasing from his perspective. Aim to keep with what Yehova says. Aim to be modest in your appearance. Aim to be on the same side of Yehova. Know that everything Yehova says will happen. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can proclaim boldly the written words of Yehova. Bear one another's burdens. We can aim for unity and peace found in obedience to the written words of Yehova. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehova will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehova will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehova will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shabbat Shalom.